Now, speaking of bad signs for this segment, Meta, who has the largest market share in, all of VR, I think they have like an 85% market share, something stupid like that. They have a very successful game, or a game that has been very successful, called Echo VR. And I think it was called Echo Arena before. And it was one of the best games for the Oculus. It's sort of, for anyone who's seen the movie Ender Games, it's sort of like the battle room, but you're in a robot suit, and it seems very cool. They're shutting this game down in August of this year, and I find it very troubling when it's like companies are trying to make the metaverse a thing. They're trying to make virtual reality a thing, and you have a game that is doing very well, is very popular. That some people say is the best VR game out right now, or one of the top 3 VR games out right now, and it has an ecosystem behind it. Sort of, like when you look at the free to play battle royales, how you can buy cosmetic upgrades and that sort of thing. It has that sort of the microtransactions built into it,
Hmm.
right? So people are playing this game because it's fun. They're spending money on this game. It's actually become so popular that there's even an esports league around this game. And the developer, Ready at Dawn, who was actually purchased by Meta in 2020, they've said that they're canceling support of this game because they need to focus on their next project.
Hmm.
And so it's not like, okay, we're just shifting our focus, so we're not going to be updating this as much. No, they're shutting it down. They're shutting down the servers. You will not be able to play this game past August 1st of 2023. And when I think of the VR industry and like they're trying to make it more popular, trying to get people interested in it, when you think of Facebook rebranding to Meta, what more do you want than a game that people will play, that people will spend money on, and that's fun? And they have that in this game in Echo VR. And to just completely shut it down makes no sense to me. This is how you build virtual reality. This is how you make it something popular. You have a successful title, and to just shut down the server, to shut down the ability to play this completely, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
And if we want to look for signs that the industry isn't doing well, we said sales of the Meta Quest have been falling, and now they're shutting down successful games, and companies are laying off tens of thousands of employees working in VR, working in AR. I mean, these are clear signs that at least virtual reality or the metaverse isn't going the way that Meta had planned for it to go. And it seems like it's not going the way that other companies like Microsoft originally thought it was going to go too, right? So it's not looking good. To go back to our first topic, it's not looking good for PlayStation, where you're coming out with this VR project, which you've been working on for the past like probably 7 or 8 years, right at the time where industry leading games are getting canceled. Companies are laying off 10,000 people who work on virtual reality, and you're cutting your sales projections in half. And oh yeah, here's our $550 headset, which costs more than other comparable headsets. So it's definitely not looking good for the VR industry, and I am definitely worried for PlayStation. After everything we said before, now talking about this too, it's, I don't know, the landscape is not looking good.
Yeah. I I'm with you. This one makes no sense. The Echo VR shutting down and Lone Echo shutting down makes no sense whatsoever. Like, this is the funny thing. This game has tons of reviews, and I don't know if it's just because recently with the news that it's shutting down, people got really interested in like rating this thing. This game has almost 10,000 reviews on the Quest marketplace kind of situation, and it's 4.5 stars. People love this game. If you read through some of the reviews, a lot of people are like, they use a lot of the language you would have expected to be used in like VR maybe 5 to 10 years from now, where people talk about how they live in this game, and there's cosmetics and stuff like that that they really enjoy. Like, people love being in this space, this Echo VR space. Uh, so it's popular, it's well received, people enjoy being in it, and it's fun. And yet they are going to shut it down on August 1st, 2023. Makes no sense, right? That's something you do to something that's not successful, not to something that has this positive of a reception and a fan base. But then also, you mentioned studios potentially shutting down. The studio that makes this game, I want to give a shout out to. It's Ready at Dawn. And that name might sound familiar to some PlayStation fans because Ready at Dawn was kind of important to the PlayStation 3 era of Sony. They ported quite a few God of War games to the PlayStation 3, but they also made one of the early, one of the best looking PlayStation 3 games, even to this date. Uh, Not really all that well received, but just a fantastic looking game in The Order 1866, which was a PlayStation 3 exclusive where it was like a steampunk kind of past game where kind of like a revisionist history kind of thing, where you're like these cops that are, have swords and like old school pistols and stuff like that, but there's like werewolves. Doesn't matter. The thing is, like, this is a very talented studio that made really talented games, and it makes me wonder. And this is the thing: this game and this studio was purchased by Meta, so they own this studio, they own this game, and it kind of makes you worried about, well, what does this mean for Ready at Dawn as a whole? And also, this means that no, like, Sony can't come in and say, okay, well, we'll reboot Echo VR and make it for PSVR, PSVR exclusive. They can't do that because Meta owns this. So unless they're planning on selling this, maybe this is how they recoup their losses. But if you're gonna sell it, you're not gonna shut it down. Like, you're not gonna force people to stop playing the game before you sell
Yeah.
it. So I don't know what the whole plan is here. This seems like one of the dumbest moves you could possibly imagine. And who knows? I'm sure there's smart people working at Meta that have a reason for this, but I think they need to explain people what this reason is because it makes no sense.
Yeah. Really, it doesn't make any sense. Even if, okay, they have a new hit game that they're about to come out with,
Hmm.
it it also doesn't make sense to cancel a game that clearly has momentum and clearly has a fan base,
Yeah.
right? Like, if out of all the stuff that Meta wants to funnel money into, this is something that is successful. They funnel money into things that they hope are successful, that are currently unsuccessful, and they hope that eventually it's going to turn around. This is something that is successful. So why would you stop it?
Yeah.
But I mean, also, why would you rename your company to Meta? But